Hello Dan Brown, it's me, Jamie here, 1187 on South Pole of the Moon and YouTube, and this is my response to your community video. This response will be split into 4 different sections. The first is my unique perspective on this topic. The second is a YouTube video community? Third is, what is a community? And the fourth section will be on building a strong community. Random hat changing time. So starting with the first section, my unique perspective. I went to college at the University of Vermont, and the University of Vermont was totally all about community. Everything they almost ever spoke about was community, and they had some of the most awesome clubs ever, including the UVM Juggling Club. I was actually vice president of the Juggling Club, and I was also treasurer at one time of the Horticulture Club at the University of Vermont. So I have always community stuck in my head, and I'm always thinking about community. Now for the second part, is a YouTube video community? But first, random hat changing time. So is a YouTube video community? The short answer, no, it isn't. What it is a social lubricant. YouTube provides a basis for people to get in contact with each other, but YouTube on its own is not a community. The same way the SouthPoleOfTheMoon.com is not a community either. I mean, Pogo Tribe is a community, yes, as it stands now it is, but the forums themselves are just the means by which community can be built. Right now, everyone could decide not to go on South Pole of the Moon anymore, and even though SouthPoleOfTheMoon.com will still exist, it won't be a community. Social lubricants like YouTube and SouthPoleOfTheMoon.com are usually based around common interests. And Dan, I'm sorry to say this, but besides being a YouTube celebrity, you're like a KY or petroleum jelly or even chapstick. You are a social lubricant. The things you talk about make way for people to talk about things. They make conversation pieces for people to get to know each other. So what is a social lubricant? It's a method by which we build a community. But just because YouTube and South Pole of the Moon are social lubricants, not communities, then what exactly is a community? Which brings us to part 3, random hat changing time. So what is a community? And I think Maculata or Speckley on South Pole of the Moon said it very well in her video. You can click here if you want to see that. A community is a group of people centered around a common interest, but with the ability to do things outside of that interest. However, communities need very specific things to be built. Without social lubricants, communities would not exist. For example, if you put random people from all over into a room and expect them to be a community, well then you're in for a rude awakening. Most likely, everyone would stay to themselves. You don't believe me? Why don't you go to the supermarket and wait online? A line of people is a group of people, or go to the theater and wait online for a movie. Unless you're with your friends, hardly anyone is going to talk to you. But when a social lubricant is applied, for example, if all those people were on South Pole of the Moon and had seen your latest video, then they have something to talk about. So like Dan Brown or Pogo Tribe or YouTube, all these things are common interests that people could talk about. And once you start to get to know people, they can start to do amazing things. And if you still don't understand it, let me try to explain it one more time. This one simple common interest social lubricant thing is like a seed. And you plant it, and you just hope and hope and hope that one day it will grow into an awesome community. This is a cool begonia, by the way. Which brings me to number 4, building a strong community. Random hat changing time. To build a strong community, what you need are basically 2 different things. The first are leaders. For example, the admins on the South Pole of the Moon, Dan, or the people who have previously participated in triads and are now helping the new triads through the triading process. Those are leaders that we can look up to on South Pole of the Moon. But those aren't the only people who can be considered leaders. A lot of other people can be considered leaders of our community too. What's most important for a leader is to be enthusiastic and to actually care about what you're doing. Not everyone is enthusiastic. I completely understand that. But without enthusiasm, people lose interest. Without someone who cares, people are going to lose interest and the community will fall apart. Think about enthusiasm as water and the community, just to keep up the metaphor, as a plant. Without enthusiastic people, the community can't grow. On that last note, I've noticed a disturbing trend on South Pole of the Moon. People have not posted as much in the project section of South Pole of the Moon, and they seem to have been posting a lot more often in the anything and everything side of South Pole of the Moon. Now, I'm not saying that people who post in anything and everything or in the debate club aren't enthusiastic, but the South Pole of the Moon community will not do awesome things unless there are people dedicated to doing awesome things. And while all the games in the anything and everything section, and while playing devil's advocate in the debate club might be great social lubricants, remember, social lubricant is not the equivalent of a community. For the last time in this video, random hat changing time. So what did we learn in this video? 1. Posting a YouTube video does not constitute a community, and neither does an individual person like Dan Brown. What they could constitute is a social lubricant. 2. Social lubricants can lead to communities if the people that are involved around that common interest decide to do something other than what their common interest involves. And 3. To build a community, what you need are a strong group of leaders and enthusiastic people. That's all we have time for. I really didn't say anything about what I wanted the South Pole of the Moon community to do, because if I did want something for the South Pole of the Moon community to do, I would post it on the South Pole of the Moon project section. And things like the book club and the South Pole of the Moon money challenge have been things that I thought were really awesome for the South Pole of the Moon community to do, and I'm going to keep posting. So I'm Jama here, 1187. That's about all I have to say about community, and I'm out.